Wow, whoever thought so much can be said without actually saying anything at all? All right, in this example, we're going to talk about the AI system, which is right up my alley. And the topic is going to be read and react, which is right up my alley. This is often said to be a big improvement to Madden 13, and we're going to see if it's an improvement. Most people get the terms change and improvement mixed up. So let's help define the two. We're going to look at Lance Moore here and watch the wide receivers and the defensive back. Notice the what would be defined as a jam at the line of scrimmage by EA standards. The defensive backs keeping an eye on the wide receivers. The wide receivers turn and look back at the quarterback, which they should, by the way. But notice how once the wide receivers turn their heads to look back, the defensive backs don't look when they do. Why is this happening? Well, it's because the read and react system is one big illusion in Madden 13. The developers say that the defensive backs won't react unless they actually see what's going on. But the question becomes, what actually triggers these defensive backs to turn their heads? Because it's supposed to be when the wide receiver turns around and looks back at the quarterback. But we can see that that is not the case. So what is actually causing these defensive backs to turn their heads? Keep an eye on Leon Hall. He's watching the wide receiver. And Devery Henderson, again, he's looking back as if he's anticipating the pass, but Leon Hall never turns his head until this moment. But at this moment, the ball is in the air already. So we know it's not the wide receivers turning and looking back at the quarterback that triggers the defensive backs to turn and look for the ball. Finally, let's look at number 23 against Marcus Colston. There's the defensive back jam. And again, Colston is looking back at Drew Brees as if he's anticipating the ball. And I want to get this all in one shot here. You see the ball is in the air. And now number 23 looks back at the ball. This is happening because read and react does work in Madden. What they do is they read the controller, then they react. The computer knows that the ball is in the air, and that is what triggers the defensive backs to turn their heads, creating the illusion that they've been watching and keeping an eye on what's going on the field the entire time, which we now know is not the case. Again, in real football, the defensive back turns his head and prepares to make an interception or a swat based on wide receiver movements. If they turn their head and is checking back constantly at the quarterback, or they're preparing their hands or preparing their body. But not in Madden. We need to be careful of what we call an improvement. Because if we keep falling for these illusions, that tells the Madden team that things like this are okay. We need to be careful of these illusions and not to accept them as improvements. Because if we do, in the end, all we're doing is insulting our own intelligence. The AI system at the core in Madden is exactly the same as it has been in the past. However, in NCAA, you get most defensive backs looking back at the quarterback when the wide receivers do. However, in Madden, we can see that's not the case. Read and react does work in Madden. The AI reads the controller, then they react.